So like he's last in passing yards, first in
Well,
interceptions, and
no. He's most turnovers, most interceptions, worst losses, worst completion percentage, worst in. I posted on Facebook. Is that crazy or what? If this guy's a Hall of Famer, that's nuts.
uh, if he is a Hall of Famer, it's got to be strictly from his 2 Super Bowl wins and his name. Like at this point, like I feel like that's the only thing that's really keeping him afloat.
Right, but that's ridiculous, though. That's ridiculous. He had the top defense in football, the top pass rushing. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's good for us as the Cowboys fans that they continue to let him ride out. So it's 2 easy wins every year. So, but
yeah,
it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike. The man over here to my left is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
It was a great long weekend. We had a little scheduled day off, I guess you can say, but we're back at it. If you guys have been living under a rock, Saturday was a very exciting game for the Toronto Raptors. They did in the series in 6 games by beating Milwaukee. Coming back from 15 points down, I believe it was at one point. So, Marcus, what are your thoughts on this game? I mean, clearly you got what you wanted in the game in against 6 to like get some rest. You picked the Raptors back in October, but you did pick the Bucks to win this series. So, how do you feel about this? Like, is the Raptors were they the best team in this series?
Well, look, the Raptors are going to be a heck of an opponent for the Warriors. I mean, this is going to be fun to watch. I mean, get your popcorn ready on this one. The Warriors have not seen this good a defense, maybe in any of their finals matchups, and that's including LeBron and when Golden State got held to 89 points in Game 7, June 19, 2016. Think about that. The Warriors getting held to 89 points. I think they're going to see similar defense. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, I picked Toronto in October, like you said, to win the championship, and that's when they got Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, 2 top-notch defensive players, and Kawhi Leonard I think is the best player of the NBA. To me, that put them over the top of anybody in the league, and that included the Warriors. I thought OG Anunoby is a heck of a defender, and he's going to come back from what I hear for games 3 and 4 in Oracle. So my feeling was if you put a lineup out there of OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and Serge Ibaka, that 5 right there is the best defensive 5 that maybe the NBA Finals has ever seen. And so now the Warriors are going to have a hard time shooting jump shots with these guys. Their ball movement better be absolutely superb. Their backdoor cutting better be absolutely superb because the Toronto Raptors defense is going to be great. And I can't wait to see OG back in the lineup and to see the matchups and who guards who at the end of ball games. And Kyle Lowry's a good defender too. This is going to be fun to watch. So we'll see what happens. The Raptors just need just enough offense to, with their great defense, just enough offense to get by the Warriors. And we're going to pick in a little while. Unless you want to pick it now, but this is going to be a heck of a matchup. And the Warriors are in for a wild ride here. Okay, they had it easy against Portland. You notice that the Warriors didn't complain to the refs at all?
Right.
The whole Portland series, and they're a bunch of crybabies. They always complain to the refs. They didn't complain to the refs because there was no resistance. They just got to their spots wherever they wanted to go to against the Portland Trailblazers. And that will not be the case here. You are going to see the whining big time. You're going to see Draymond Green spend half of his time with the officials and the other half dealing with Kawhi Leonard. Kerr's going to be complaining. Curry, I mean, that's all you will see from the Warriors this series is a bunch of complaints. They will go back to when they were in the finals with LeBron, always complaining. So that's what you'll see, and that's what they do. They're so talented, but yet they spend half the time complaining to the refs. It's absolutely amazing. I can't stand the Golden State Warriors just on that alone. But it's going to be a fun series, and it is must-see TV.
Yeah, so just flashing back to Saturday just a tad bit, like I was in and out because I was on a family vacation, and like I would tune in as much as I can to like check the scores out, and and the Bucks were up like 15 points, and I kind of just like tune it out. Like I thought this was a
Right.
wrap. I truly thought that Toronto would not win 4 straight games to win the series in 6 games. I truly did not think that. Like after they lost their first 2, I was almost banking on a 7-game series. I would have put my life savings on it. But for them to win 4 straight games the way they did, to come back down 15 points down in that game 6 shows that this is a championship caliber type of team.
Yes.
And looking back on it, like I know when playoffs first started, Toronto and Celtics were my Eastern Conference teams, and I had Toronto beating them. And like looking back on it now, like I really wish I would have stayed with Toronto during this series as well. Just because the Bucks, I don't know, it's just something about them that they don't have that killer instinct or something. I'm not for sure exactly what it is, but the Raptors have the it factor right now. Coming off of 4 straight wins versus the Bucks, Kyle Lowry is playing pretty good. I mean, 17, 16 points like every game. I mean, that is what the Raptors need out of him is that consistent 15-plus points, having Kawhi get, 25-plus points.
Right.
That is a recipe. The way they played Saturday night is a recipe to beat Golden State. So if they just continue this trend, it is not a reach to say that they will push the Golden State Warriors to at least a 7-game series. At least a 6-game series, if not even 7 games. If they continue to play they are.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, can you imagine Kawhi Leonard going out in 4 or 5? I mean, I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors could win, but they're not sweeping Kawhi Leonard. I don't think it's even going to be a gentleman's sweep in 5. Yeah, going back to your Bucks real quick, the Bucks averaged, I think, 118 points per game in the regular season. That got held to 99 and 94 in Game 5 and 6. So they were held to 20 to 25 points under their average. That's how good Toronto's defense is. The Bucks had like 20 points in the paint in that Game 6, and I think they had like 22 points in the paint. They had 22 points, but I think they averaged like 55 points in the paint through the regular season. So they were 30 points under their average. So, yeah, I mean, Toronto's defense is big time, and this is even without OG Anunoby. So wait till he comes back for Game 3. Van Fleet was amazing. I was wondering, like, he was 3 for 25 in this slump of like 5 games in a row, something ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, this dude's a better shooter than that. I mean, I've watched him. I've watched his career. I watched him at Wichita State. And then he went 14 for 17 from 3 in the last 2 games. So, I mean, he completely turned that thing around.
Shooter slump.
And just going back to Kawhi Leonard, I mean, we have not seen this, Michael, in a player since Michael Jordan to do this at both ends of the court, to take on the opposing player's best player and then to come back and hit 30-something on you. We have not seen this since Michael Jordan. Kobe didn't do it like this. This guy's a machine, Kawhi Leonard. It reminds me of Michael Jordan in terms of not necessarily his play, but in terms of how he goes about it and what he does on the court. It reminds me of Michael Jordan. We haven't seen this. I haven't seen this since the late 90s. And so there's no way this guy's going out Kawhi Leonard in 4 or 5 games. Absolutely not. This thing will come down to like at least Game 6 or 7. You're 100% correct on that.
Yeah, so just let's just go ahead and move directly forward into the finals. Then, like you do have, we do have Golden State take on the Raptors. It starts Thursday, May 30th at 9:00. A pretty late start here on the East Coast. Toronto is favored by 1 point going into that game. Kevin Durant is officially ruled out of Game 1, if not Game 2 as well. Since I don't even know if he's traveling to Toronto. Actually, I haven't really. No,
he will. There's no way he'll travel because there's too much time in between games, and he could play on the following Sunday, 3 days later. So yeah, I'm sure he's traveling there. They'll bring the doctors and all the medical staff to Toronto. I'm sure he'll be there. Right. And if nothing else, this is the finals. He'll be there to support his team. This isn't the regular season or even the regular playoffs. This is the finals. I would be shocked if he wasn't there supporting his team.
Well, but this is Kevin Durant. We are talking about a everything's his way or the highway. We've seen that time and time again. Yeah. But let's just go ahead and start where everybody wants to start. Who do you got winning the series?
I got Toronto winning this series in 7. I think this is going to be one of the most epic series that you've ever seen. I think about 4 or 5 of these games are going to come down to the wire, and it's going to be who makes a shot and who plays the best defense. And man, one and dones like offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding is going to be so key. Whoever gets offensive rebounds, I mean, Toronto's got to rebound. They cannot give Golden State Warriors extra possessions. Man, I cannot wait. I'm going to pick Toronto in 7 because of Kawhi Leonard, and especially if Durant doesn't play those first 2 games. And by the way, Toronto has to go up 2-0 without Kevin Durant.
Yes.
In the lineup. If they can't, listen. Kawhi Leonard could come back even if the series is 1-1. I don't doubt this man playing ability. But it would be better for them if they went up 2-0, especially with Kevin Durant coming back probably for games 3 and 4. But like I said, I think OG Anunoby, 6'8" and can defend, is coming back also for games 3 and 4. So this is going to be fun. What that does, Michael, is Kawhi Leonard will be guarding, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, whoever they want him to guard. They may even rest him on Draymond Green in terms of Draymond Green's shooting ability. Now, Draymond Green has a lot of movement, so it's not necessarily you getting rest. He's like a poor man's Magic Johnson and poor man's LeBron James. So when I say rest, I mean like guarding him at the perimeter.
Right.
That's when I mean rest. But they could put Kawhi Leonard on Draymond Green. But now, games 3 and 4 at Oracle, if OG Anunoby comes back and Kevin Durant comes back, now you have the luxury, if you're Toronto, of putting Kawhi Leonard on Kevin Durant, and then you can move OG to Draymond Green. So this is going to be fun to watch. I mean, this is the first time in their 5th trip to the finals, the Golden State Warriors, that they're facing a team that has enough defenders for their great players.
Right.
Usually you're a guy short or 2 guys short. You might have 1 or 2 good defenders, and then, oh my God, how are you going to guard all 4 or 5 of them, right? But now they can match you defender for defender for your offensive power. I haven't seen anything like this in a while in terms of the defensive players that Toronto puts out there. So we'll see what happens. I got Toronto in 7, and they better win the first 2. Otherwise, it could be, that they could lose it there, and maybe Golden State does win this thing in 6.
So I've been kind of going back and forth on this series a lot. I see what you're saying about Toronto, but my gut is telling me to pick Golden State. Like, it is just their I don't know. I mean, you can't go – nobody would call you a fool if you picked Golden State. But at the same time, nobody would call you a fool for picking Toronto either, the way they are playing either.
Yeah.
Just some stats here. They did play twice in the regular season. Toronto is 2-0 against Golden State when they were full strength as well. They even had Cousins at the time, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah.
So just kind of just throw that out there a tad bit.
Yeah.
People are so high about the Warriors scoring. Well, let me throw you some stats out here. The last 10 games, Warriors are scoring 118 points per game. Raptors are scoring 115 points per game. So they are neck and neck there. So with KD out of the picture for at least one more game, he would be out for officially 2.5 weeks, give or take a few days. So once he does come back, or if even if he does come back for the series, there's going to be so much rust on that guy that it is going to take him a game, if not a game and a half, to even find a shooting groove again. Because whether you want to admit it or not, there is such thing as too much rest, and by sitting out game 1, I think that is on the borderline of too much rest. With that being said, I still got to go with the Warriors. I think in 6 games, I think Toronto gets the first 2 at home, and then the Golden State does what Toronto did to the Bucks and get it in 4 games there. So they win the first 2 and then lose the next 4.
Kevin
in 6.
Kevin Durant's gotten lots of rest. I mean, in terms of and it could be rust because he's one of those rhythm players. Like OG Anunoby, you could say the how's he going to get in rhythm? But he'll be back for games 3 and 4 at Oracle. But OG Anunoby doesn't need He doesn't need to get into rhythm or anything. He just needs to play great defense and hit open shots. Kevin Durant, that is going to be a lot of rust, So we'll see what happens there. And the great Stephen A. Smith has picked the Warriors as well. So you're on the side of Stephen A. Smith, and check this out. He's 0-8 in his last 8 years in the finals, picking the finals.
Really?
Yeah, he's 0-8.
I did not know that.
That is so. Yeah, as soon as he picks the Warriors, everybody better pick Toronto. He's actually that's amazing. He's 0-8. That's hard to do. You couldn't be 1-7.
So basically, at one point, one curse is going to break. Is it going to be the Stephen A. curse that breaks, or the Drake curse that breaks? So
yeah. So I mean, I don't even know how you go 0-8. That means he didn't pick the Spurs in any of them. He didn't pick LeBron with a healthy Kyrie and a healthy Kevin Love.
Right.
2016. This guy's insane. So he's 0-8 in his last NBA. That means he didn't pick the Warriors. I don't know. It's weird. He's 0-8 in his last finals picks. I mean, wow. So whatever he was going to pick, I might have chose the opposite. If he'd have picked Toronto, I might have chose the Warriors.
I mean, like 0-8 is just it's hard to wrap your head around. I mean, like even a blind mouse could probably get at least 2 of them, right?
That's what makes it mind-boggling.
Yeah.
If he would have been 2-6, I'd have been okay. We've all been there. 0-8, it's hard to fathom.
And especially since he has such a wealth of NBA.
Yeah. He's supposed to be the guru.
Yeah, I mean, because
that's funny.
That's where he got his start. I believe he was following like the 76ers or something like that. Like
yeah. That's right.
That's hard to wrap your head around. So,
and as soon as if I was talking to him, man, as soon as we were on the panel doing picks, I'd just keep saying 0-8, baby.
Yeah.
0-8.
Isn't that the what like all those great MJ fans say? Well, we're 6-0 in the finals, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, but speaking of finals, let's talk finals MVP like a tad bit. You have Toronto beating the Warriors in 7 games. Who do you think is going to be the MVP in this finals?
Well, they always give it to the best player on the whoever wins the championship. So it's going to be Kawhi Leonard. But if they were actually really picking it, I mean, I think Jerry West won the MVP, the Finals MVP. In 1969, and the Celtics won in 7. But they gave Jerry West the MVP, and they should have. He was the best player on the court. Was not Bill Russell. So yeah, Jerry West was the Finals MVP of a losing team. I think Chuck Howley was the MVP for the Super Bowl 5, and Dallas should have won. The Cowboys should have won Super Bowl 5, and he was the MVP, but it was pure luck, fumbles, and just crap where the Baltimore Colts beat the Cowboys. But they still gave the MVP to a losing team, and that was Chuck Howley and the Cowboys Super Bowl 5. Listen, LeBron James was the best player on the floor in both Kevin Durant's MVPs. Now, Kevin Durant averaged 38 and 8. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? But LeBron was something like 34, 12, and 10. So LeBron was really the best player on the court, and he showed. I know Kevin Durant hits that iconic shot over him. So what?
Yeah.
You can't even double team the guy. You can't even run anything at him because he's playing with such great players. But so I mean, LeBron should have been the MVP on a couple of losing sides there. But that being said, they're going to give it to the winning side, and that they always do usually, except for the 2 times I just pointed out. So I think it's going to be Kawhi Leonard. It'll be the Finals MVP. Now, on the flip side, Stephen Curry has never been Finals MVP, so it'll be Stephen Curry. Unless Klay Thompson just completely goes off and does magical things in 5 games or something. But that never happens because
he'll get his 1 game.
What Klay usually does is he hangs around for a couple of games and then, maybe 3 or 4 games. He doesn't have the luxury this time because there's no Durant. If there's no Durant, then he doesn't have this luxury. But he usually hangs around and gets a little 20 here, a little 22 there. Does his DeMar DeRozan impersonation? I'm good, but I'm not great. And then he'll hit 45 or 50, right? And go, oh, he only took 11 dribbles to do it. And then everybody say, oh my God, he's a max player. He's unbelievable. Yeah. Well, yeah, he hung out for a little while because he plays with such great players that afforded him that opportunity. Then he played well 1 game, but yeah, it'll be Stephen Curry. I mean, Stephen Curry's got to play lights out in this series, and I can't wait to see who Stephen Curry guards, who guards him. I guess it'll be Lowry off the bat. Lowry's a good defender, but in crunch time, like I said, Toronto can throw out there all players, everybody over 6'6", Danny Green being the shortest player on the court. And they can throw that out there at the Warriors, and the Warriors are going to have trouble. As soon as you start switching around, Curry's going to have a hard time shooting over the top of OG, Kawhi, Danny Green. Unless he's hitting 35-footers, which, he could.
He has to.
But this is going to be fun to watch. And then once he drives to the paint, meet Pascal Siakam and meet Serge Ibaka. They're pretty good shot blockers. So good luck with that.
Yeah, I think KD is going to win the Finals MVP. Like, he'll sit the first 2 games, and then the next 4 games he is in, he'll quote unquote put the team on his back, and they'll win those 4 straight games, and then all the talk will be they wouldn't have won it. Like, if he wasn't on the court, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's very well possible. That's a very good point. Yeah, he could be their savior again.
Right. And I want to add to your Klay Thompson point there. I saw it was like a ESPN Taj or something like that. Like, this day last year, Klay Thompson hit those 11 3-point shots versus Oklahoma to basically win the series. I believe it was.
Yes.
So,
if Klay misses 1 or 2 of those shots, that was a Klay Thompson. That's what's amazing.
Yeah.
You want to revisit history for a second, and this is always fun to do for me. Let's just say Klay goes he misses a couple of those shots. Well, guess what happens? Durant wins, and Durant's in the finals, right? Then he never goes to Golden State.
Right. So
Klay Thompson making those jumpers was partly the reason why Kevin Durant ended up with the Warriors. Because it's just incredible, the history. I mean, just a few shots here or there missed, a couple of fumbles, and that's the way sports is. It's amazing.
So what you're saying is Klay Thompson is the reason why everybody hates the Warriors right now, right?
Yeah, and making those shots against OKC, he was lights out. He was incredible.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't do that, man, Durant's in the finals versus LeBron with OKC. That's incredible. And so none of this that we're talking about, none of this happens. Like,
And then James beats KD in the finals, and then KD goes to the Cavs.
That could happen, right? Too. Yeah, Kevin Durant. Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Durant, he'll be in Toronto next year when they lose. Yeah, that's why this guy gets so much criticism and scrutiny, and rightfully so. That's why this guy's leaving. He's out the door already. It doesn't matter what happens in these finals. Kevin Durant will be a Clipper, a Knick. He'll be something. He won't be a Laker. He doesn't want to join with LeBron James. He wants to beat LeBron James in titles. He's not going to show up and add to LeBron James' list. He showed up and added to Curry's list, though. So right. I don't put anything past him. But I don't think he'll do that with LeBron, add to his list. But yeah, Kevin Durant is out the door. He's going to be a Knick or he'll be a Clipper.
Yeah, I believe he's going to New York if everything you hear is somewhat correct over the last 3 or 4 years, or like it's been talking about it for like a while. So let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the amateur league. Well, I guess semi-amateur league. RJ Hampton, he is he is the number 5 recruit of the 2019 class. Has decided not to go to college. He's going to Australia to play professional basketball over there for a year. I believe his tweet said that his goal is not to go to school and to learn. He wants to go to the NBA. He is passing up Kansas, Texas Tech, Kentucky, and Duke as well. Was in the running for to receive this guy. So is this the beginning of the end of college basketball?
I don't think so, but let me go back to that. I mean, I think Texas Tech right now, Coach Beard is kind of disappointed. He's a Texas kid, RJ Hampton. So that was, getting to the championship game and all that. You gotta hopefully you reap the benefits of other kids saying, that's a good program. Let me go there. And they had RJ Hampton in their backyard almost, and he's the number 2 rated point guard too, by the way. Now that would have been a good get for Texas Tech, so I'm sure they're disappointed. Man, I don't think so. But I'm surprised more kids haven't done this. I mean, that's that's a good route to go to, man. I mean, why show up for college for a few months? I mean, go get
There,
paid.
there have
Enter the
been
draft.
3 or 4 other players that have gone that route,
Yeah, they have.
but at the same time, they really didn't pan out, or were they as high as picks sought out as this guy? Terrence Ferguson was the most recent one in 2016, and he was the number 11 uh, rated player. So, I mean, it's very few and far between.
No, I get it, but I'm surprised it still doesn't happen more often. I mean, some of these hardship cases. I mean, if Australia was handing me a check for $1 million to play for them for 4 months, or go to the University of Kentucky, I'd probably rather go to Australia and take the $1 million instead of getting yelled at by Calipari. Why aren't you rebounding?
Yeah, but but then you have to look at this on the flip side as well. Like, are you going to learn as much as by going like over there and playing with inferior talent, or would you learn more by going to Texas Tech and actually playing competition night in and night out, experiencing March, that kind of thing?
I wouldn't care. I would be so confident in my abilities that if I'm the number 2 rated point guard in the nation, I feel like I could score on LeBron James. It's like like a Darius Garland can. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't I'd be worried about that money now. Like homesick, and I don't want to go overseas, and my parents probably would have to come with me. That would be a no brainer. So I mean, it's a big decision. It's something to think about. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't happen more often. But I'm glad it doesn't, because I want to see Zion and R.J. Barrett and these guys play in the NCAA tournament. So I'm Darius Garland, even though he only played 5 games. Bol, I don't want to see them leave. Bol only think played 9 games, but I don't want to see them leave. I want to see at least we got a sample of Darius Garland for 5 games, and what Bol had played 9 games. Those 9 games were spectacular, by the way, and that's why he should be a first round, maybe a lottery pick. Bol out of Oregon. So I don't want to see that. I want these kids to go to college for a few months, so we could have a good NCAA tournament. So, but I'm surprised some of these kids don't take the money. But we'll see how RJ Hampton does. He's only going to do that for a year. Next year, right at this time, we'll be talking about RJ Hampton as probably a lottery pick, point guard, 6'5" in the first round, or at least lottery.
Yeah, like I think the biggest thing, if he does well, like say he does become a lottery pick, a top 2, 3, 4 pick, you will start to see more kids do this more often. So it is kind of like when my Uncle Sam's from the Tigers came out and said he was gay. Then you saw other people follow that. Yeah, I'm gay. Yeah, I'm gay. I'm gay. So if you if you see one person have success over there, then you'll say, "Oh, I'm going over there. I'm going over there. I'm going over there," and then you'll see the Australian basketball league blow up, because you got people like Zion over there and Ja Morant and making Sports Center highlight tapes. It would be smart to go over there and earn a guaranteed check. Now, now the question is going to arise: what is the NCAA going to do to prevent this from happening? Because in the end, it's going to hurt their brand if more and more players go over there. At that point, you don't think it will hurt their brand, if they have 25 of the top 50 players go overseas?
Oh, I'm sure it'll hurt their brand, but there's nothing they can do. I mean, 18-year-old kid, you can't go to his house and pick him up and say, "No, you're going to Texas Tech." He can do it 18 years old. He can do whatever he wants to do.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is they will have to fix their system, and then the talk that we had Thursday or Friday, I cannot remember what show that we talked about it. They're going to have to start paying the players for their jersey sales or likeness or something like that, because
but they're not paying, Michael. They're not paying if your son was being offered to go play overseas in Europe, and they were handing you a $700,000 check for you and your wife, and then the NCAA says, "Oh, we'll give him $1,000 a month." What are you going? What are you doing?
Oh, $700,000 easily.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless you already, listen, some families already have money. I mean, I'm doing okay. I mean, that's tough to turn down 700,000. But if I knew my son was a top prospect and probably going to be in the NBA draft the following year, we might just bite the bullet for a year. I mean, we're not desperate. We're not destitute. So 700,000 sounds lovely, but he's about to have his name called. All he has to do is go to Texas for 5 months, and then a year from now he's going to have his name called, and we're going to be he's going to be instant millionaire. I mean, so what I'm saying is the hardship cases. You go to players and parents with not a lot of money, and then Europe was offering them a $700,000 check. There is no way in hell that I'm going to show up on the Texas Tech campus when my parents and the lights are getting cut off. You know what I mean? That doesn't
make
any
100% right. I mean, like, there are cases just like at UK where Wenyan Gabriel, he strictly went to the NBA draft because they needed cash. Like, like his mom's car was getting repossessed or some of that. But then at the same time, you don't really hear a lot of those cases because those colleges are paying them under the table or paying their mom's rent or something like that, usually to keep them around. And like I think that's the only reason why a lot of these kids do go to college is because they are getting paid in a roundabout way. I mean, like, it may not be directly to them, like at all, but they're driving around in a brand new car.
You always hear all the time.
Yeah,
we got your mom a job.
Yeah,
and here's a duffel bag of $20,000 to start her off. So I mean that I'm sure that happens. I mean, yeah,
but like I still have to, because like my college experience was like it was a great experience. Like, I met some lifelong friends. Like I got to travel the United States, seeing things that I probably wouldn't have seen if I would have went over and played in the European football league for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I see why he's doing it. Earn that check. He could get hurt, lose millions of millions. So it's kind of up in the air, like what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know his family situation. I mean, if they're destitute or he just doesn't want to go to college or something. I'm not sure on that, but I mean, I don't know why you would turn down Texas Tech if your family has money. It's just but if your family doesn't have money, man, then I probably would go too.
Well, but then you go into the boat as well. It's just like maybe he sucks at school, like maybe he doesn't know how to read, or maybe he has skated through by so much by being an athlete where
that's possible too. Yeah.
And just like he will never be eligible, or like maybe it's an eligibility issue. Like maybe he's not eligible to go to school because his SAT scores are too low, or GPA too score, or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Absolutely. And then in that case, you do like the old Steve Miller song, "Take the Money and Run." Yeah.
Right. So guys, that is going to be it for today. We touched on a little NBA Finals, finished up on the Eastern Conference Finals, and RJ Hamilton is going over to, I believe it's the New Zealand is the team that he signed with.
Is it? Okay. And then I wonder how much money he's getting too.
I did not see that.
It's got to be six figures. I mean, you're not leaving if it's not at least 6 figures. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, here we go. $1.2 million. So
there
we go.
Yeah.
So
hey, Michael, see
right.
ya. I'm joining him. I'm his agent.
All right, man. We'll see you in 6 months.
I'll be doing the show from New Zealand.
We'll see you in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys. That is it for today. Catch us tomorrow, same time, same place. Later.